Hello. So, my name is Sunny Stones, and I am going to start doing motivation throughout the days or like towards the ends of the days. So, what I want to talk about today is knowing your worth. Like, just take a moment, sit back, and just think to yourself, do you know your worth? Do you know what it actually means to actually know your worth? When you hear the word when you hear the words knowing your worth, do you actually know what it means? Do you know your worth in life? Or maybe, do you know that worth is worthy of having? Know your worth and don't let people take advantage of you. Refuse to be around people that treat you like you're not supposed to be treated, that treat you like you're not worth it, that treat you like you're an average. And never settle for a life that is less than what you actually deserve. When you start seeing your worth, you'll find it harder to stay away from people who don't. And what I mean by that is when you actually find your worth in life, you'll find it that not everybody is there to be by your side, and not everybody is there to keep you up. Because the way the world is set up today, people are not here to give you advice and actually be by your side. And you'll realize that once you start knowing your worth and what your worth really is. Maturity is learning to walk away from people and situations that threaten your peace, that threatens your love and your anointing and your mindset, your self-respect, your value, your morals, or your self-worth. If you don't know none of that, then you don't know your worth. It's time for a lot of us to start knowing our worth. It's time for a lot of us to start doing something about who we really are and how to express ourselves more better. And not trying to actually just put ourselves out there in a way that we're not supposed to be put out there. In a way where we need to know when we're being loved, when we're being treated right, when we're being treated wrong. We all need to know that. A lot of us may think that we don't need that necessarily, and a lot of us have that mindset, well, I really don't need people. But at the end of the day, when you're going through something, you have to at least talk to somebody about whatever you're going through. You might not feel like talking about it, but at least talk to somebody. God is always the answer. He's always the answer. Because at the end of the day, you got to realize that when you start to go through things and when you start to deal with a lot of situations in life, excuse me, but when you start to deal with a lot of stuff in life, you can't just hold that in. Because at the end of the day, when you start holding that in, it ain't going to do nothing but hurt you. Because you're holding it in and inside, and it's just building up. Then you're going to lead to a stage where you're being depressed and don't understand it. What a lot of us need to understand and have to understand is everybody's not out to get us. Everybody's not out to hurt us. There's some people who actually care. There's some people who out here who actually care about us. There's some people who actually understand where we're coming from. And what we have to understand is not everybody's out here to hurt us. There's some people who actually care. We just got to understand, and we got to know who those peoples is, who's actually here to help, who's actually there to hurt you. Everybody ain't there to support you. Everybody ain't there to love you. Trust me, I've been through some things, and I've understand more of what I've been dealing with now because I actually talked my problems out. What a lot of us have to understand is a lot of us youth, a lot of us kids, we're hurting too, and we're afraid to talk to anybody because we think everybody's out there to hurt us. I'm 18 years old, and I had to learn that the hard way. Everybody's not there to hurt you. Everybody's not out there to break you. But what we have to understand is there's somebody who we can always go and talk to. And if you feel like you can't, there's always God. As long as you get it off your chest. And what we do have to understand is when we are knowing our worth, then that's a different level. That's a different understanding. There's a different demeanor of what we're doing. When you putting yourself out there, then you have to actually put yourself out there to a standard and uphold yourself to a standard where people want to be around you. What we have to realize is when we get ready to leave our mark, we have to understand if we want to make an impression on life or do we just want to be known by our name. And a lot of us don't. I don't. I want to be that person where I leave a legacy. And I leave something behind my name and not just, oh, well, that's that so-and-so. What she did, oh, she really ain't do nothing with life. I'm not going to be that person. I'm going to be bigger and better. It's time to start growing. It's time for a lot of us to start growing. It's time for a lot of us to start knowing our worth because a lot of us don't. Another thing is make sure that you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you, which means if you hanging around people that really don't care about you, you need to let them go. And that's plain and simple. If they dare to hurt you and if they dare just to be there, you don't need them. My friends, we dare to help each other. We dare to keep pushing each other on. We dare to keep, when one of us fall, we picking each other back up. When one of us is hurting, we dab by each other's sides. But that's all because we know the definition of friendship and we understand the definition of being there for somebody besides the definition of not being there for somebody. There's a difference between all of it. And a lot of us have to understand that. Knowing your worth is actually when you start to move different. When you start knowing your worth, you're going to see difference in your life and you're going to see different changes. You're going to see a lot of different dimensions of what you actually going through. When you start to move different things start coming to you. Better things start coming to you. When you start doing what you need to do, you get blessings. That's all to it. Not every response needs an answer. Know who you are. Know what you want. Know what you deserve. And deserve and don't settle for less. And that goes out to a lot of us. A lot of us are getting ready to graduate this year and we're stuck, lost, and confused. But that's only because we don't have the love and support that we need. But I feel like once we get that love and support that we actually need, we'll be bigger and better. And a lot of us are still stuck and don't know what that actually means. So, chances are you heard of many self-words. There's self-esteem, self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-respect, self-confidence, self-love, and self-care, and so on. There are so many words to describe how we feel about ourselves, how we think about ourselves, and how we act towards ourselves. It's understandable if they all start to blend together for you, however. They are indeed different concepts with unique meanings, findings, and purpose. However, we all have to learn that in order to help someone out, we have to know our own worth first. Once you start knowing your worth, then I think that a lot of people will actually understand better. And before you try to help anybody out in life, make sure that you help yourself first. Make sure that yourself is in order and yourself is in check first before you try to help anybody. Yeah, a lot of people hurt. Even the good ones hurt. But at the end of the day, you still have to take care of yourself. You still have to respect yourself. If you don't respect yourself, then who will? If you don't know your worth, then who will? If you don't love yourself, then who will? It's all about what you do first, how you do it, and what you do with it. We all encounter life lessons. Now, with that, we all encounter life lessons, but what you do with that life lesson once you go through it determines your future. Either you're going to take that life lesson, put it in a bag, and run with it, or you're going to just leave it there and do nothing about it, and you still live in that life lesson where you stuck and don't understand it. But that's all for today. My name is Juanise Towns again, and that is my daily motivation for today about knowing your worth. See you later.